Oh my goodness gracious. I am elated to have in studio with us one of my dear friends, one of our most fabulous team members at Hatch Realty, and an all-around epic man, Mr. Jim Rentfrow. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh, look at you. First time on radio. How you feeling?
Energetic.
Attaboy. Jim, where are you from? Give us a little of your story. Where'd you grow up? How'd you end up in Fargo? What have you done before real estate?
Yeah, so I moved to Fargo in 99. I grew up in Roseau, Minnesota, along with Mark Hedlund.
Yeah, on our team too. Yeah, that's hockey country. That's Polaris country.
It's hockey country, Polaris country. I was a wrestler.
Okay.
So, kind of the outcasts of the Roseau High School, but
okay, because you weren't a hockey player.
Yep,
you were
exactly.
Yep.
So moved down here in 99, went to NDSU. Since then, I've worked at Microsoft. I've worked overseas. My background's kind of always been in sales and on the phone, so it's a really great mix to be here and working on the phones with Hatch.
Now, you worked in Afghanistan, right?
I did, yep.
Doing what?
So I was doing training over there for Afghan businesses that worked with gemstones. So my background was in gems. I went into a store in 2005, got my graduate gemologist degree, and basically teach them how to cut stones, how to work with it, how to add more value. So the whole premise was, hey, if they have great paying jobs and can export gems, it'd be great for American businesses as well as them because they'd have good paying jobs. So
what a weird gig.
Yeah, it was a weird gig, but it was a great gig. It was probably some of the best 9 months of my life being over there. And, great for the resume, obviously. Not many people have been to Afghanistan.
Yeah,
so.
you're, Jim, you've been a part of our Hatch Realty world now 2.5 years.
Yep.
Closing in on 3 very quickly.
Yep.
And what is it that your role is with Hatch Realty? Because it's not, you're a licensed realtor, but you don't sell houses.
Right. So my role is inside sales. So I'm that first point of contact with people. So if you call into the office or call into our 4839 number, basically you're probably going to get me or Pete. So what I do is I talk to people and work with buyers and sellers and try to find out exactly what they're looking for and looking to do and helping them out with that.
Now, inside sales, is this something that exists in every other real estate company in town?
No, it's a pretty rare role. It's a very hard role to hire for. And so I think we are the best inside sales company. I'm usually pretty humble, but I'm just going to name it. So.
I appreciate that confidence, but I think that we have to do due diligence for our listeners to understand why we have inside sales. And even that word sales, we talked about it last week, is the word sales can feel a bit gross, right, Jim? I mean,
right.
In fact, we want to call our department inside sales, inside service, but that's ISIS, and I don't think that's the right acronym to do.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, probably not. And so instead, we need to figure out, and we're trying to change the language even to call this like an inside service agent.
Right.
What does that mean though? Because if I'm listening to the radio show today and I say, you know what, maybe I want to give Hatch Realty a chance to interview for the job, they're going to call, and you're not going to get me, folks, as busy as I am. I wouldn't be the best person to talk to. I would want to make sure that we put you in the hands of somebody who has the time and the organization to make sure that you're fully heard. We'll still connect. We'll still get a chance to have me do the marketing and representation of a lot of things. But the first call goes to the nurse, in a sense, right?
Yep.
You're the triage nurse, right, Jim?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
And so what questions are you asking somebody if they're calling in and they're selling their house?
The number one question I ask is motivation. First things first, I'm never going to push a house on people. I'm never going to push selling your house. It has to be a good fit for you. So I want to understand what your situation is.
The service piece that we talked about, right? Sales sounds like you're pushing.
Yep.
Service means like you're listening.
Right. I'm always going to listen to you. So I'm going to find out exactly what you're looking for, looking to do, what your time frame is, and then really finding out what's your motivation. So, if you need to be out of your house because you're moving for a job, that's considerably different if you're just casually looking for a house. And that tells me I need to give you service right away compared to someone that might be looking next year.
Right. So the timing is obviously important, but you get folks all the time. We talk about this on air and we talk about it with our team all the time. This is an emotional game.
It is.
Real estate, We can talk about numbers and we can talk about transactions. It's all emotion, isn't it, Jim?
It is. The way I usually describe my position is I'm part psychologist,
Yep.
part statistician, and part phone ninja.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you're dealing with a big purchase like this, if you're someone that's lived in your house for 30 years, you have all your memories and all your emotions tied to your house. And you want to make sure that this isn't just about the money. It's about someone taking care of you and taking care of your family and really showing the respect to your house that you've been in for so long.
Yeah. So, Jim, if you're the triage nurse and you're the psychologist and you're the therapist and you're the phone ninja as well, when somebody calls and you're working on booking an appointment, what if they're not ready to book that day?
That's fine.
What if they say, Jim, I'm 6 months out. I'm just calling to dip my toe in right now. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I really just have a conversation, find out exactly what they're looking for. If they say they're 6 months out, I'm usually going to call them back in 3 months because 6 months usually changes to 3 months pretty quick, especially when you're buying a house. And I want to make sure people are going to be taken care of.
Okay, but we talked about emotion again, and real estate is about life and death, isn't it, Jim? Like, it's either about new job, new family, new marriage, new opportunity, new wealth. So that's the life part, or it's about a loss of a life or your health, or somebody moving out of your house, or a loss of a job, or shrinking down. It's an emotional game. I can't stress to you enough, people listening right now, the importance of service in this industry. Real estate is sales and it gets a bad rap, but service at the core is the most important thing that we can do to take care of you. And my man Jim here is poised and positioned to simply serve and to listen well. And if we can be of service to you, not of sales to you, but if we can be of service to you, I have to believe that it's worth your time to at least start the conversation. So folks, if you're listening right now, 369-4839 is how you connect with us, or livefargomoorhead.com. Jim, stick around. We're going to keep you in studio because I got a lot more to talk about with you. But in the meantime, folks, find out what your home is worth at livefargomoorhead.com. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and in studio with us, we still have the man, the myth, the legend, Jim Rentfrow, straight out of Roseau here in Fargo, now working with Hatch Realty. Jim, at our Christmas party this last year, you received a couple of awards. What awards did you receive from our group?
So I got the top ISA for Hatch Realty as well as the MVP.
The most valuable player, the person that voted on by all of our team members, people said, you're the guy. You're that value piece. And that's so crazy, folks, because you have to understand Jim is behind the scenes. He's not the guy up front. He's not the flashy person who you're going to meet with face-to-face. In fact, Jim, face-to-face makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Even being on the radio right now, I'm a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest.
And we record this not only with audio, but with video as well. And so I know you're sweating just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying not to make contact with it.
Yeah, I get it. And so you're a behind-the-scenes guy, and yet you're the most valuable person in our organization. Why is that?
I think because the ISA lines up the whole organization's goals. So, for instance, last year, I think I made 87,000 calls.
Wait, hang on. I was regurgitated in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
You said 87,000 phone calls.
Yep. So 87,000 phone calls. I think I sent about 40,000 texts and emails. And I set roughly 800 appointments. And about 190 closed, 187. Closed.
Wow. People are listening right now saying, I hate that guy. Because you're the one that called. Like, if they sign up on our website or anything else, they're going to get an email or a phone call, right?
Yep.
Why?
Because I value people. I want a service. So I think my whole thing is I'd rather take care of you. I know we'll take excellent care of you, and I'm here to help. So if you do get a call from me and you don't want to, just tell me. That's fine.
Just say, please take me off your list, or I'm not interested, right?
Yep.
Are you going to keep calling?
No, I'll stop.
Hey, did you hear that, folks? Because all the time, you'll see a number and it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to this person. And they'll call the next day and the next day. Now, Jim, people just have to request to be taken off that, right?
Yep.
And we'll simply honor that. We're not trying to push anything that you don't want. We're trying to serve. And we think that with confidence that we can give the best service and experience in town. And so we aren't doing ourselves a favor or doing you a favor by not providing you that opportunity.
Right. exactly.
So Jim, let me transition now, because if you're calling diligently for people that sign up on the website, let's say I'm listing my house with Hatch Realty. I'm Joe Blow at 123 Main Street, and I'm listing my house with Hatch Realty. Why is it important to have an inside sales agent on the team to make sure that that house sells quicker and for more money?
So the way I look at my job for sellers is I'm your bouncer, right? And it's a weird term for it, but I'm the guy that's going to make sure, are these buyers coming in? Are they pre-qualified? Is this house actually what they're looking for? And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do everything I can to bring in the maximum amount of buyers into your house to get you that top dollar.
Well, yeah, part bouncer because you're filtering people in, but you're also like you're that person that's talking to anybody who's even making eye contact, right? Like anybody who raises their hands, anybody who signs up on a website to look at your house, you're calling those people, aren't you, Jim?
Yep, exactly.
I mean, you're there trying to wave them in. You're the biggest promoter and hustler in the most positive of ways in our organization, keeping the wrong people out and getting everybody else in the door at a higher rate than the rest, right?
Correct. Yep.
So Jim, why in the world is it the value piece? Let's wrap it up here with this. If I'm selling my house, why do I need to consider working with a group that has the right ISA team as opposed to maybe folks who run without a team and leverage in their world?
I think the biggest thing is I will respond to everything within 5 minutes. So me and Pete, we have another 2 ISAs starting next week. We reply within 5 minutes to anybody that registers on our site. If you look at the national average, it's 48 hours.
Ooh.
So 48 hours, everybody's gone.
I don't remember what I did 48 hours ago.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure I was eating, but besides that, I don't know what I would have been doing 48 hours ago.
Right. And so having that immediacy is really the thing that brings people in and allows me to communicate with the most amount of people possible.
Mm-hmm. And your job, again, is when you're reaching out to those people to simply listen to see what they want.
Yep.
Right? Jim, how many people do we have in our database right now that you are connecting with on a regular basis? Do you know?
So I have 1,400. Pete has about 1,400. And there's 15,000 total people in our database right now.
So those are people who have raised their hands and said that real estate is of interest to them.
Correct.
Now, one of the great things that happens is I think that let's say Jonathan's house comes on the market and Jonathan's house is of interest to, we know, some of our clients. You're now reaching out to those clients and saying Jonathan's house just hit the market.
Correct.
And this is what it is. And you can get a chance at first dibs and moving quickly on it as well, right?
Correct. Yep.
So you're tying together not only our database of interested buyers and sellers, but you're matching them with other people. It's like we are a dating site in a sense, right? As we know the criteria that people have and what they want, and we're just matching them up together.
Yep, we're just matching them together, and because of the technology we use, we can do that process very easily. Mm-hmm. So I can go out once that house goes out on the market. I can then go into my database, pull out all the matches, and it gives a score basically from 0 to 150, and that will tell me who I should then go out and contact. So sometimes it may be 5 people, sometimes it may be 55 people.
Yeah, and those are people who are going to be lined up ready to buy that house. So
if
you're selling your house, not only do we have the 15,000 people in our database and the 3,000 that are being worked with on a regular basis, we have under contract right now over 200 buyers that have signed up with us that are working exclusively with us, ready to buy that next house. And they don't have the house that they need yet. And so, folks, if you're listening, if you're thinking about selling, I have to believe that a conversation should be in order. We can make it easy on you. You'll get a chance to talk to my main man, Jim, here, and he will do everything in his power to help serve you if it's the right time and the right fit. So let's talk about that. 701-369-4839, or as always, head to livefargomoorhead.com.